So a lot of you guys have been asking me, yo, Skills, what settings have you changed in Rogue Company? Because your aim seems to be on point, and we all know that you're using a controller, you're on console. So what are your settings, and what settings did you change? And that is a great point to point out. I did change some settings in Rogue Company, and no matter what game you play, whenever you get into a new game, you should always dive into the settings, because the settings can definitely improve your gameplay. Like, you could be playing at a 5, and just by doing your settings, you could be playing at a 7, right? So you definitely improve it by finding the right settings that fit you. So in this video, I'll show you my settings, and definitely take that with a grain of salt. You should definitely be seeing what settings best work for you, because at the end of the day, this is your game, not mine, and you have to find some settings that really fit your play style. Now remember, I do play on PS4, so if you're playing on console, these settings for your controller should work perfectly fine. So let's go into the options tab, and then we get to the settings. Now for video display, the brightness, that's really up to you. Some people like playing with really high brightness. Mine's at 51. I think 50 is what's standard. Nothing too crazy. I didn't even really change this. It probably just was default 51. Motion blur enabled. If you do want to take that off, a lot of people don't like having that on. I leave mine on. It doesn't really bother me too much in this game. Something like Call of Duty, I usually turn motion blur off, so that's like when you're turning and stuff like that. So for audio, I do run 100, 100, 100. If you feel like the music volume's too loud, you can lower that. The sound effects volume's too loud, or the master volume, it really, you can play with this voice chat volume. For some reason, when people are talking in game, they sound really loud. So I'll put mine at 20, and then if they're really low, then I'll raise it up to like around 50. And then voice chat, push to talk. If you're on console, you usually put that off. If you want voice chat on to hear people, you want to have that on. Now the controls is where everything gets really, this is where everything is really changed in the game, right? For your mouse sensitivity, I'm not using a mouse. So these settings right here, your mouse sensitivity, target sensitivity, scope sensitivity, ADS, hold, invert, Y-axis, hold time, double press time. That is something you need to play with, right? You need to play with those settings and figure that out for yourself. So for my control sensitivity, I do run 6 and 6. So those are the two settings I do run for my control sensitivity. Now my horizontal control ADS sensitivity, I put that at 40. And then my vertical control ADS sensitivity, I put that at 40. So that's when you zoom in, right? So when you zoom in and you hit that L2 button, I feel like having it at 40 works for me. I like to have it, I think 50 or 60 is default, but 40 for me works, so I lowered it. Some people like theirs really fast. I feel like the regular horizontal vertical control settings, you can bump that up as much as you want. But in this game, I feel that you don't need to have anything more than 6. Some people like having that crazy. I just feel like since this game, the time to kill is pretty quick, you don't need to have that crazy spin time, because you might miss a lot of shots. So 6 for me works, so I run with 6, 6. And then the ADS, when you're aiming down the sights, I feel like having a slower ADS works really good on this game. So I went with the 40-40. Now it does have the 5% acceleration boost, and I think that's pretty factory right there. There's also an acceleration boost multiplier, and mine's at 1.05. So that's really, you need to play with those, see what works for you. For the ADS mode, I like hold, so I hold L2. When I let go of it, it goes out. Some people like toggle, so if you would hit L2 and then it would automatically stay in the whole time, and then you hit it again. I personally like having mine down. Some people like both, so you can either hold or you can tap. So that's really, I like hold. ADS hold is definitely where it works. For horizontal control scope sensitivity, mine's at 50-50. I really haven't played sniper too much, but I most likely am going to drop this down a little bit. But as of right now, since I don't snipe on this game, I'm at 50-50. So I have picked up a sniper. It's at 50-50. Didn't feel just right, so I do need to play with it. But that, if you want to scope in with sniper rifles, right, and you want to play with this, this is probably where you're going to want to play right here, because this is going to help you get those headshots, hit quick shots if you're good at sniping, right? The invert wide axis, I always keep that off. Some people enjoy playing with that. And then for vibration, I always keep mine off on every game I play now, because even though the controller I use right now, I have a scuff controller, it doesn't have the vibration in it. Like I didn't get the ones with the vibration option because I always keep it off. So I just feel like it keeps your hand steady, and you don't really have to worry about You don't really have to worry about your hands shaking. And then we have reload interact button. Press to reload, hold to interact. So if you're hitting the reload button, it's just one tap. And then if you're trying to interact with something, you would hold. Now you can swap it where you press to interact, hold to reload, or press to interact and reload. So to interact with anything, to reload. A lot of people really like this one. Currently right now I'm running this one. If I'm gonna interact with something, I hold it. But it's really up to you. Now the hold time is 0.2 seconds. You can lower this a little bit if you want. And then the double press time is 0.2. So those are some settings you can change there. The big settings that I did change, like I told you, is the controller sensitivity. I upped that up. And then the ADS sensitivity, I pushed it down. Now, if you're a sniper, you probably want to up this up or push it down. I wouldn't leave it on 50. If you're a sniper, I'm pretty sure 50 is not going to be good enough for you. Now, bindings. There were some bindings I did like to change. So I have pretty much everything stock, but on the crouch, I did switch this to R3. I do like being able to hit my right thumbstick in to crouch. For me, that works the best. Now, if you feel that that's not how you enjoy it, you want the default, I just always feel like putting crouch on that button, it works really well. And for me, it's how I play mostly all my games, from Call of Duty to everything else. So R3 was always how I wanted. And then the other thing that I did change is I went with the ping. So the ping on this map was a little bit different than, I forget what button it was, but I went with the up D-pad. And that's the same ping that's kind of on Call of Duty Warzone. I just feel like hitting that up D-pad's a lot quicker and it frees up some of my other stuff. Some people don't like that, but that was another big change that I did right there. So yeah, there are a few things that don't actually have a button on there. So that's just something for you guys to play with and see what you like. Some people do like swapping out the R2, L2 with R1, L1. I don't, but that's really up to you. The big thing that I did like changing, I 100% like changing the crouch, and then I like changing the ping. I felt like those two were some big, smart changes right there. And then I think the button for crouch before, wasn't it like square? I forget what it was, but yeah, so we switched that out right there. But yeah, these are my settings right here. These are some settings you want to get into and change for sure. So that is another good thing to do. For gameplay, I really didn't change anything here. This is all up to you, how you like it, how you want it. And then for social, that's just pretty much the region you're in. North America East is my region. I'm on the East Coast. And then if you want text chat on or off, that's up to you. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The settings on here aren't too complicated to mess with. Some small changes make the big difference on any game you play. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, leave a thumbs up. I'll see you guys in the next Rogue Company video. But until then, nothing but skills is out.